Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's so good to have you, and I'm so excited to be doing this again because it's been a while I did a sit down video, so this is so exciting for me. My name is Buki, and today I'll be sharing with you 10 things that you should not do when you come into Australia. This is most especially directed to those who are just coming into the country or those who are maybe less than a year in Australia. I think you'll find these tips very useful because they are things that I have learned over time. Now, the very first thing I'll be talking about is do not arrive at places late. Now, it's important for you to keep to time here in Australia. Australians value time, they value their time, and they are always as prompt as possible. So if you need to visit people or you need to attend a meeting or an appointment, keep to time as much as you can. Make sure you don't arrive at the place late. Now, if for any reason you need to get there late, give them heads up, okay? Put a call through, send a text message, let them know you're running late, or if you won't be able to show up at all, let them know ahead of time. Don't send them a message 5 minutes to or 3 minutes to the time and tell them, sorry, I won't be able to show up again. No, it's totally unacceptable, okay? People might not show how angry they are, but it's been registered in their mind that this person does not keep to time. So as much as possible, keep to time. The next point is that do not go to parties empty-handed. How do I mean? It's important that when you're going to parties, you're attending a party, no matter how little it is, go with something, okay? A gift, it could be really that little. It could be a box of chocolate, okay? But just try as much as possible not to go there empty-handed. This is something that I learned from way back home, and it's still really useful here in Australia. When you have to attend the party, try not to go empty-handed. Now, another point is this: do not speak in a language that people around you do not understand, okay? When you are in a public space or especially at a place of work, try as much as possible not to speak in a language other people do not understand. And the reason is this: it could make people very uncomfortable. It could just make them feel like, okay, just try to speak in English or in a language everyone around you understands. It's just way better, especially in the office setting, okay? Speak in a language everyone understands. It's just the right thing to do. And to my point number 4, do not litter. Try as much as possible not to litter. Like, not even try as much as possible. Just do not litter. Do not litter the ground. Do not litter the roads. It's not acceptable in Australia. If your dog has done the poo, make sure you pick it up, okay? Make sure you do not litter, because littering here would attract a fine, and you don't want to do that, okay? So try as much as possible not to litter. Keep the environment very clean, which is the right thing to do. And I'm sure that because you can even see that everywhere is neat, you will try as much as possible to just keep it as neat as it could be. Try not to litter, especially outdoor. Now, my next point is that do not try to avoid paying for public transport. How do I mean? So it's very possible that if you enter a public transport, either a bus or a train, you might not be caught if you do not pay, because it's not very common for people to ask you if you have paid or not, okay? But it's just the right thing to do, especially if you are in the city. In the city, most times there are people who are appointed to check around to see if people have actually paid for their transport, and you don't want to be found wanting. So make sure that you always pay for your transport. If you think your transport card is running out of enough credit, make sure you reload it, and just make sure that you're paying for your transportation, okay? Now, this is a very interesting one. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna put it this way: don't say sorry. Yeah, don't say sorry. Like in Australia, I've had times when I tell people sorry and they're looking at me like, why did you say sorry? That wasn't your fault. And for me, sorry just means I'm being caring, or I'm being nice. Like, for instance, if you hit your leg on a stone, most likely the next response I will give is, oh, sorry. But an Australian will tell you, that wasn't your fault. You don't have to say sorry. And then I'm looking like, okay, what am I supposed to say? So really, saying the word sorry is not very common here, especially when you're using it in a place of trying to show that you feel bad about what has just happened to someone. if you get what I'm saying. Using the word sorry is not the most appropriate, because the way they perceive it is they feel like you're saying sorry when you are not even at fault. So avoid saying sorry. It's very funny, but I think that's the best way I can explain it. If you have a better way to explain it, please leave it in the comment section. Now, this is another very, very important point. Do not touch people without their consent. Like, I've met people in the past who, while trying to talk to you, they just try to like pat you, and you know, they're explaining something to you, and they're touching and they're touching, and it's really not bad to some people. But here in Australia, when you need to talk or when you need to address people, as much as possible, keep your hands to yourself, because not everybody is comfortable with you touching them. Not everybody is comfortable with that. Touching, carrying, like sometimes you see people, you see a very cute baby and you really would desire to carry the baby or just touch the baby's cheeks or just touch the baby's hair. It's important that you first ask, is it okay to touch your baby? Is it okay to carry your baby? Is it okay to touch her hair? Don't just touch people. Like, people need their space, and some people get really startled when you touch them. Some people get really uncomfortable when you touch them. Try as much as possible to keep your hands to yourself. Now, this is relative. There are people that you have built relationship with, you grew up together, you're used to touching and touching yourselves, that's okay. But especially people that you don't have that much of a relationship with, and maybe you're just colleagues or neighbors or something, nah, keep your hands to yourself. Hey, guys, don't visit people unannounced. That's another thing that is important here in Australia. Don't visit people without telling them or without giving them heads up. Now, again, this is very relative. There are people who you have built that relationship with. I have people around me that I show up at their door and say, surprise! But I don't do that to everybody, because a lot of people need to know ahead of time that you will be coming to their place. Aside from the fact that you could be wasting your time by visiting people, and then maybe you get to their house, they are not home, you just ended up disappointing yourself. Some people are actually at home, but they are not in the best mood to receive visitors, or they have other things you're doing, or they have other plans made out. So you need to tell people ahead of time before you visit them. Some people, when they have visitors, they just love to entertain them, love to feed them very well, and then you showing up unannounced makes them feel really bad, like, oh, I wish you told me you were coming, I would have prepared something better or something. So just let people know that you are coming. My next point is that do not jump queues here in Australia. That's another thing I've come to realize, that it is totally unacceptable for people to jump queues. Like, there are countries where people find it okay to jump queues, and you know, you see someone on the queue that you know, and then you start talking to them, and the next thing you're already on the queue. No, it's not acceptable in Australia. You cannot jump the queue. Just respect the people that you met on the queue and just stay on the line, okay? Don't jump queues. It is not acceptable. Finally, do not disrespect people. No matter who they are, no matter where they work, do not disrespect people. It's totally unacceptable. Especially service providers, okay? You don't want to disrespect people at their place of work. You probably could feel like, oh, this person is not fast enough, this person is not understanding me quickly, this person is just... Don't disrespect them. Talk to people calmly, talk to people respectfully, because it's just totally unacceptable for you to disrespect people. A lot of times people respect one another. Just try as much as possible to respect people everywhere you go. And so that's the end of this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it very useful. If you have other points for me or for people watching, please leave in the comment section. We're definitely going to read it and learn from you as well. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Don't miss it. Bye.